Hi, good day to everyone. Uh, I hope everyone is in pink of health. My name is Mr. Lim Chun Yao, or CY Lim, or can call me Lim Tanju. I am from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, from Vihara, Xing, Malaysia. First of all, I am very grateful for the mercy of God, for the virtues of our holy teachers, our 师尊师母, and also to our 老前人, 前人, 点传师, our senior masters, for giving me this opportunity here to be in YouTube to share with you a topic for today on Tao Practice Series. The title is The Experience of Inviting People to Receive the Tao Gospel. I sincerely hope that after this 45 minutes to 1 hour explanations, you will have a very deep understanding on this topic. Let's move on to the forward. When we invite people to get to know Tao and to understand Tao and also to introduce Tao, and most important thing, our objective is to invite them to receive Tao. And with this will of you, of I, or of us to invite people to receive Tao, this is actually a manifestations of Buddha hearts. That means we are practicing Tao, showing our very kind and compassionate heart. And number two, when this heart, the compassion heart that we had, and our sincerity are upheld, we always believe someone with a strong affinity with Buddha will be saved by Tao Gospel. So this is how we want to propagate Tao and to save the others. And for all the Tao members, we will have to fulfill our vows. When we want to fulfill our vows, Tao Gospel propagation can be continued. And this is one form of sharing great love to those who have strong Buddha affinity. Let's move on to part number 2. The meaning of inviting people to receive Tao. Within ourselves, which is our inner self, right? So those who have received Tao will probably know where is the inner self, right? And being able to realize oneself releases 6 desires and 3 poisons. What are the 6 desires? Okay, what we can see or look, what we can hear, okay, what we can smell, what we can taste, what we can touch, and our mind. So these are our 6 desires. And the 3 toxins are the greed, right? The greed, the hate, and the stupidity. So from outward, okay, from external, okay, earlier were internal. From external, this can lead others to build the truth self, which is the Holy Spirit back to the origin. And during the journey of Tao cultivation, we learn to establish others as you establish yourself, enlightens others as you enlighten yourself through a common interest of mankind. And this can be depicted in a simple chart, okay? When we cultivate Tao, And about self-cultivation is basically arahat level. But as a Tao members, as a person who is practicing Tao, we should learn that apart from establishing ourselves, apart from self-cultivation, we should learn to enlighten others, learn to encourage others, learn to propagate Tao to the others. And so this is a level of Bodhisattva, okay, where not only about self-consciousness, but also at the same time, we want to enlighten and help others, okay. As we move higher on the Buddha level, is a full of unconditional love, all right, and imperfect brightness. So Buddha is the top level of enlightenment, where it's a hybrid of Arahat, Bodhisattva, and we further enhance one self-cultivation and also enlighten others by giving a big love, a big unconditional love, and it's a total perfect brightness. So cultivate virtues through saving the souls of other people by propagating and inviting people to receive Tao, and we will be sheltered by Buddha whenever disaster arises. So this is a very meaningful benefit in a way, but a benefit whereby we are not asking for reward. Instead, we wanted to invite people to get to know Tao, to understand Tao, and hopefully with his strong affinity, he can then receive Tao. And we need to do this by cultivating this action, and by cultivating these actions, we can foster virtues. And with that, we receive Buddha's shelter. The preparation for inviting others to Tao's gospel. What do we need to do, right? A lot of you, or maybe some of you, or most of you, must have experience in sharing Tao gospel to others, to your family members, to your friends, someone who have not heard about Tao but curious to know about Tao, or because of your warm kindness, because of your big love to share Tao gospel to others, I'm sure there are many ways how you can propagate Tao to somebody or to invite someone to receive Tao. Basically, I have summarized some of the key points, how we could prepare ourselves whenever we have a very good view or good intention to invite someone to understand and receive Tao. First of all, our physical and mental, we have to be ready. And it has to be a good intention and spirit. Number two, what we can do is we can start thinking, pondering, and reflecting the names of our families, the names of our friends, and then we can actually, by listing down the names of all the potential Tao candidates, we can then arrange meetings and visits. Of course, we should arrange appointments in advance. Number three, whenever we meet our family or friends, okay, we can bring along some Tao introduction booklet or books from the temple, that describe and explain what is Tao. We can bring them along, and of course, for fruits that we serve to the goddess, serve to the Buddha, okay, serve for the praying, we can always bring along, you know, to give it to our families and friends. This is also at the same time create the affinity, their affinity with the Buddha. And number 4 is to understand the situation of a person that we are going to approach, especially the way of their thinking, so that we are careful and smart enough to say the right thing. And number 5, always understand their condition. Okay, example, their profession is what is their job, okay, how is their background like, how is their family situation. I think it's good to know all this. May not be, we don't have to have a very detailed information, but at least we know, so that whenever we say something, we will not say something that will hurt their heart, especially during the sharing of the truth of the Tao. And number 6, knowing someone's religion, belief, and opinions often helpful to us, okay, especially for us to give explanation on Tao. It's a full of understanding and being reasonable to somebody we know what religion they are currently believe. And number 7, I think out of all, it is very important when we want to invite somebody to receive Tao, or we wanted to share Tao with someone else, is again our sincerity, okay, and attitude. We need to give them a very good impression. And also, Tao introducer has to be trusted and carry weights in the heart of the person being invited. So in short, we should have a good reputation with someone we wanted to invite them to the temple. And number 9, the introducer himself also must believe and have full confidence in Tao. Okay, if you do not have a strong faith in Tao, so many a times you will be questioned back. So this would be one of the main conditions. And number 10 is always have good self-discipline, vigor, and effort in Tao practice, so that we can always demand ourselves, demand oneself to set a very good example. So these are some of the basic thumb of rule that I always practice whenever we wanted to share Tao with someone else. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's move on to the 2 ways approach to explain Tao. That is when we need it. Okay, and every time get yourself ready, the information on Tao, especially be able to explain the key essence, the main summaries of the truth, the Tao. Okay, and number 2 is from your Tao practice, from your Tao cultivations. I'm pretty sure a lot of you would have a lot of experience where we take this opportunity to share our Tao experience, and also to give our testimonies, right? Everyone will have his own testimony. Different Tao members will have different experience after all. And of course, some of the Tao members would have experienced some miraculous credentials. So it's all again, but we share what is right, what is truth, and what is the absolute of Tao. The Tao, the truth, the self-realization, the ultimate realization. So this is fairly important. Of course, we will approach to explain Tao in a way that you're comfortable with. But these are some of the basic guidelines for all of us. Okay, so what happened? So we have explained what are the good benefits to invite somebody to receive Tao, and we have talked about how do we approach them, how do we start arranging appointment, and now let's talk about what happened after we have received someone in temple and to share with them, and with the hope that they will receive Tao. So the answer will be either success or not, right? So let's discuss more. If it's successful, in the condition that the person who was invited already want to receive Tao, okay? So when necessary, we need to explain. I'll explain a little bit more about the Tao receiving ceremonial procedure and also the time required, so that we can get him or her to be ready, so that he could plan his time in advance. All right. And secondly, if the situation is rather special, okay, or if the situations requires a special arrangement, perhaps we will probably need to do it in a bigger and more solemn Buddha temple or Vihara. Some would prefer to be done in a bigger temple, all right? But it all depends on the person who received Tao. And of course, the Tao introducer should be sensitive enough to know what will be the person's expectations. And of course, we need to prepare the Tao ceremony diligently, so that the ritual coordinator and the conductors, especially, they need to be very reliable and be very disciplined, so that they abide to the time, they are ready on all the ceremony procedures. Okay, and then we find a good time or right time, or at the end of the Tao Three Treasure introductions, we have to mention and explain about the merit fee. And on top of that, we have to always introduce who is the masters, who is the introducer, and who is the guarantor. And important, the date of him or her receiving Tao. That is normally we will actually write in a card and give it to her for her to keep in a wallet. Okay, right? Just now, if someone's willing to receive Tao, okay, as his own desire, but there are also times where we try, we explain, we hope, but yet they are not ready. So if the person's invited is not ready, or if he or she doesn't want to, or the condition does not justify for him or her to receive Tao, these are the normal conditions that will happen. First one will probably be disabled people who are blind, deaf, or mute, or maybe some they are short or lacking of fingers from birth, normally they don't we have to always ask master. Normally they can't receive Tao. Number two is normally those who have a job related to slaughtering animals or seafood, okay, they also will not be ready to receive Tao. Or the third situation is probably after a long time of Tao sharing, Tao gospel sharing, or sharing Tao introduction, but still he or she does not want to receive Tao. So anyway, we still remain as good friends. We stay friendly, and we do not want to be pushy. Okay, and when people whom we are invited for Tao ceremonies, they are at times a misunderstanding that when we told them that we are vegetarian, they may misunderstood or they disagree. Therefore, we must explain to them this is actually our own will, and it's not compulsory for them to be a vegetarian after receiving Tao or Chiu Tao. So I think we need to explain and make clear to them so that they do not misunderstand that after receive Tao is a must to be a vegetarian. It's recommended, it's good based on compassion heart to be based on stop killing animals, but we have to explain to them this is not a mandatory. So the important things to look for, especially for introducer, grantor, and Tanzu, right? What are the things we need to be more careful? The first one, as always, don't bound by the inclusion of names and greed on the merit services. You know, a lot of Tao members will love to fulfill their vows by serving the work of temples, and of course, they have a big heart to introduce Tao and invite someone to receive Tao. But always, by cultivating these merits and virtues, we don't want to be bound by the name of greed for the merit. And number two, we always do our best, right? Nobody will force you, force me, right? It's all from our sincere heart. So, as always, I believe all the senior masters, or our Tanju, or anyone, we will always say, do your utmost, right? We just want to be sincere and just always be ready to service. I think these are the important things that we should possess. And always speak gently, and we always ask the right questions, and we don't make jokes about it, right? And number four, after inviting to receive Tao, we must continue to provide guidance to the juniors, right? That could be your friends, family members, but once they receive Tao, they are part of the Tao community and Tao members, and we need to continue to support them, give them a lot of guidance, so that he or she could continue their cultivation, right? In Tao. And number five, enhance. We must have a continuous improvement in enhancing our self-cultivation, especially cultivate internally and externally. So here are some of the true story of receiving Tao. It's based on my experience. Somebody I know, and also part of our temple, part of our Vihara. Okay, who is she? All right, you can see the circle in red. She is Auntie Shanta. All right, Auntie Shanta, by now her age is 60. She's in 60, and she received Tao in Cameron Highlands Temple, or we call Vihara Cameron Highlands in Malaysia. And her story begins in this way. So one day Auntie Shanta, she was sweeping the floor in front of our temples, and meanwhile our main door was open. She could see through inside our temple, especially the Maitreya Buddha or the Happy Buddha. You can know what I meant was, you can see that is a Happy Buddha, right? So she can look right from outside through into our temple and our Buddha's altar or table. So she saw the Maitreya Buddha, and she was very touched when she saw the Maitreya Buddha. So meanwhile, she kept looking, and one of our Tao seniors, Jackie, his name Jackie Lim, and we were inside the temple. Okay, so as she was looking in, so we were watching her. Okay, from inside. So we thought it was a good idea to invite her to come into our temple for some prayer or blessings. So Jackie went out and spoke to her. Jackie was very clever to ask her, Auntie, can you help me? And Auntie Shanta replied, what help do you need? Jackie said, we have breakfast. Can you help us to eat? That's a very smart conversation that Jackie started with her. So Auntie Shanta smiled at Jackie's very positive, warm, good attitude, and she accepted the invitation to enter the temple. So as she walked in, she continued towards the Buddha's altar or the Buddha's table, and right in front of the Buddhas, she knelt down. She prayed to the Maitreya Buddha for a long blessing, and thereafter she looked very happy. I think we were touched that she was so happy, and we told her that we will have a temple opening grand ceremony very soon. So we invited her to come. Please come to receive Tao. Come to Chiu Tao. So she agreed, and in fact, right before our temple grand opening, she actually received Tao before that. Okay, and since then she became our Tao Qing. She became part of us. She became our Tao member, and actually, during such a short time, she doesn't know much about Tao, but she just have the belief and faith in Tao that this is what she is looking for. And not long after, she automatically brought her other best friends to come to our temple to receive Tao in this our Vihara Cameron Highland. So it was something that she did it automatically without us expecting or demanding from her. It's just come so naturally. She felt that the Tao was so good, she wanted to share the gospel with her good friends. So she brought some friends with us, and now they are all become our part of our family and became our Tao Chi. So there was a story of a miraculous experience that she had. Okay. Until after she received Tao, there was a short time thereafter she wasn't well. Her leg was in pain. Okay. There was one night she had a dream that there were two Buddhas came to massage her legs. Okay. Yes, her legs were hurt, and one of the Buddha was massaging her leg, and the other was looking at her. Okay, there were two Buddhas. And the next day when she woke up, her leg recovered without pain. So it was a miracle moment for her. And after that experience, she was even more diligent in inviting more friends to come to receive Tao or Chiu Tao. And so far, she had brought 5 people to receive Tao. And right now, there is still one person waiting for the Tao ceremony arrangement. So this is a true story of how one of our Tao members, Auntie Shanta, how she joined the Tao community, how she came to Tao in a miracle way. She was like so touched and by the Maitreya Buddha, and she has such a strong faith, and even without being very well versed about Tao and its true meaning, she continued to bring her friends one by one and her friends' family to come to receive Tao. So I think she did a good job. It was a marvelous merits and virtues that she is cultivating. So this is the first story about Auntie Shanta. Let's move on. Okay, this is Mr. Fun. Mr. Fun, he's also in his 60s. He is actually our first Tao member in Vihara Cameron Highlands in Malaysia, and his story started like this. So Mr. Fan, he is actually a nature lover. He owns an organic farm in Cameron Highland, and I got to know him at the end of year 2018. Yeah, that's right. To end of year 2018, when my family visited his farm. He has a very good ethics in his farming, and I can see he loves his staff just like his family. So from his kind heart, he was initiated to receive Tao, Chiu Tao in December 2018, and after that he he introduced Tao to his staff, right? To 5 of his staff, right? And five. He invited 5 of his staff to receive Tao. Next, he brought some of his friends to the temple to get to know more about Tao. Some are even Japanese. Some are even Japanese, and some are Germans. Because Cameron Highlands has a very unique attractions whereby a lot of tourists from anywhere in the world love to spend a long holiday in Cameron Highland, and we have a temple there. That's why a lot of the locals will get to know a lot of foreign friends. So right now Mr. Fan has 2 more staffs waiting for Tao ceremony. So that's a wonderful great merits and virtues that Mr. Fan has cultivated or has fostered. So this is a second story about how Mr. Fan invited somebody to receive Tao, and earlier was Auntie Shanta. The third one was that his name is Uncle Gan. I call him Uncle Gan or Mr. Gan. And he's like more than 80 years old. It's about 80 years old. And he is also now a local in Cameron Highlands. And his story sounds like this. Uncle Gan received Tao actually long time ago, probably more than 20 years ago. But day after he received Tao, in our temple in Kuala Lumpur, in Happy Garden Temple in Kuala Lumpur, perhaps due to his like busy life at work and family, he did not continue the Tao cultivation in our temple earlier. So in short, is after received Tao, he did not continue his cultivation path. He did not really come back to the temple. And he was carry on with his life. He was busy and all those things. And after he retired, he migrated to Cameron Highlands from Kuala Lumpur. And there was just one day before our grand opening of our Vihara Cameron Highlands. So one of our friends, right, Miss Call, told him about the temple opening ceremony which was upcoming. So he came to our opening ceremony, and when we bumped into him after like more than 20 years, we were amazed. I mean, it was a long time of loss of contact, right? But it was great to see him again after so many years, and he started telling us his story, how he received Tao back in Happy Garden Temple more than 20 years back. So the God, the Buddha, brought him back, right, to Tao, brought him back to the temple. So he believes strongly the affinity he had with Buddha, and knowing that, not giving him up. So since then, he had devoted himself back to Tao, and also very often to come to our Vihara Cameron Highlands to help the Tao community, to serve, to support, right? Even though he's like 80 years old right now. So that's the third story about Uncle Gan. So these three Tao members, how they received Tao and how they brought their friends and families to Tao. These are some of their true stories here, right? Okay, now let's move to conclusion, right? So as what we can learn earlier, some simple steps, how we can invite family and friends to receive Tao. So what the conclusion are, number one, we can always ask masters or seniors for advice and experience, right? There are always someone more senior than you in Tao community and temple, and they are more experienced than you, okay? So we can always seek advice from them, right? Ask for their experience, like how can I do better? How can I improve? How can I share more about Tao Gospel to someone else, right? They will have their own experience to share with you and to guide you. And number two is, yeah, sometimes you may be shy or introvert to share about Tao. So what you can do is we can always seek direct help from senior, whereby example that we can say, Lim Tanju, can you come with me? I have a very good colleague that he is very kind. I want to share about Tao to him. I need a company. Can you go with me? Right? These are some examples. It could be also a Tao junior, right? Important is get help, right? I'm sure you guys will find a right time and right match to do this gratefully. And number three is, many a times we can also discuss, seek discussions with the masters, whereby, yeah, probably the temple can form a Tao propagation team, a team of Tao members, whereby experienced members or some seniors and juniors together, so that a team whereby could learn and also could cultivate and could practice, and also to propagate Tao, right? So a team whereby with the objectives of, number one, to propagate Tao, and number two, to invite people with strong Buddha's affinity to receive Tao, right? This is the good intentions that we wanted to do. And number four is, as always, keep up the spirit. We need to be sincere. Sincerity is important. Sincere as ever we can, or as ever you can or you could, and always, right? Tao is about restoring our merciful heart, right? That is how we wanted to be, learn to be a Bodhisattva and Buddha, all right? So number five, they must be patient, all right? We need to have big heart, and we need to be graceful, right? And number six, always continue to evaluate based on the potential name list, right? We talked about that earlier. Come up with some name list. Who do you want to approach? Continue to review and evaluate. And some of them, if timing is not ready, don't force it. Stay friendly. So we continue to maintain a good friendship and maintain a good reputation with them. And number seven is to share Share, by sharing is caring, caring is love. Share our Tao experience, encourage each other, encourage our juniors and even seniors, right? We share. Sharing is caring, caring is love. And practice Tao with pleasure, right? It just flows naturally. It's not by force. So do serve and cultivate virtues and merits with pleasure. And number 8 is motivate someone by giving examples of goodness, or inviting people to receive Tao, show Tao. All right. With that, the topic for today has ended, and let's come to some exercise that you can practice or you can ponder, and also to ask yourself, right? Number 1, have you ever invited anyone to receive Tao or show Tao? Share your experience with us, with your壇主, with your masters, or no, even with your seniors and juniors of Tao members. Share with your Tao communities. And of course, some of you may have some miraculous testimony, right? Just like how Auntie Shanta has experienced in a dream, 2 Buddhas came to help her, and one came to massage her leg, and her leg was cured and no more pain. Okay, share some of your stories. And question number 2, right? After hearing this lesson, so are you inspired? Are you inspired to invite people to receive Tao now? I hope some sharing here could bring motivation to you to move forward and to be spirited, in a way, continue to fulfill our vows, to help God, Lord, to help Buddhas, to propagate Tao to all the mankind, especially those with strong affinity with Buddha. With that, we will discuss the lesson or the topic until here. If there's anything that is wrongly said or feelings that is hurt, I do apologize to all, and I hope that Lao Mu, the God, the Lord, will forgive my wrong words. So until then, until then we meet again in the next YouTube topic. Bye.